Hello everyone, and how are you doing today? Are you guys hearing me all right? Is everything okay? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me all right. Great, it looks like everyone can hear me all right. All good? Great. So welcome to another episode of Rising Above the Average. And thank you again for joining me. I do this every Saturday for now in the morning at 11 a.m. UK time, so British BST, British Standard Time. I think you can convert it in your own time zone if you go to Google or something. So yeah, welcome. And the reason why I do this is because I like to share insight with people about how they can rise above the average, how they can actually lead a better life, and how they can be happier in their life while achieving their desired goals. So yeah, by now some of you might know the drill. We are going to start with what we have learned this week. So what have you learned this week? I'm a great believer in continuous learning, and I always look forward to learning in every situation, in every day, every moment. I keep asking myself, what can I learn today? What can I learn from this situation, from this person, from anything? So what have you learned this week? Have you learned anything this week? Yeah? Give me a hand if you've learned anything this week. Has anybody learned anything this week? I have learned so much. I'm thinking of what to share with you. I've learned so much. I learn every day and every moment, literally. And this week, I think what I have learned that has really made a great impact in my life this particular week was to love no matter what. Like, yeah. I've learned that no matter what happens, love anyway. And what do I mean by that? And for me personally, I don't know about you, but for me, many times when I'm hurt, by my friend or by my siblings, I tend to kind of withdraw, I tend to withdraw my love. And just, I think it's a protective mechanism, I guess, to protect myself, because I love them so much that, what they do actually hurt me. And I'm like, if I withdraw my love, then I protect myself. But, the same way, if I withdraw my love and protect myself, I'm also preventing myself from experiencing their love, because love goes both ways, you see. So this week I learned that no matter what happens, no matter how hurt I am, and no matter who does what, to always love no matter what. And it doesn't mean that you might not take time off, or it doesn't mean that you will need time to recenter yourself or to process whatever has happened. But what it means, anyway, to me, is that even in those times where you're pissed off or you're still processing what is happening, deep down in yourself that, look, you're not going to vilify these people, or you're not going to, in a way, characterize them as devils, or be like, oh, they're so mean, and kind of put some kind of horrible labels in them. But you're going to be like, okay, fine, I was hurt, they did something that hurt me, that's fine, I'm hurt, that's fine. That doesn't make them a bad person. I am hurt. I'm going to treat my hurt. I'm going to see, it's literally differentiating the person from their deed and their act, right? And despite the fact that you might need some time to process, you don't vilify them, and you don't be like, you don't kind of, how would I say, put a bad label on them. But basically it's like, oh, you need time to process it, and you try to understand them. And if you need to speak with them, you go ahead, but without the judgment of, oh, you're bad, you're this, you're that, without the labels. And I've noticed that, if we can practice that, the more we practice it, the better we get. And if we can practice that often, it'll be easier for us to not withhold our love from our loved ones, from our friends, from our family members, or from anybody we love, So that's what I learned this week. What have you learned this week? I learned that no matter what, you should love everything, love everybody. And by the way, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but that doesn't mean that you need to befriend everybody. You know, you can love everybody, but you don't have to be friend with everybody. So what have you learned this week? I would love to hear from you. Share with me in the comments below what you have learned this week. So today, I have a very interesting and very nice story to share with you today. And today we'll be talking about 3 feet from gold. 3 feet from gold, the story. And I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. And I'm going to be reading this story from a book. I think most of you guys might have heard it, and if you haven't, I'm glad to introduce to you Think and Grow Rich. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, a very famous book. If you are on the path of success or on the path of improving, building your mindset and growing something, I think and Grow Rich should be your manual in everything that you do. So I'm going to read the story from Think and Grow Rich, and the title is 3 Feet from Gold. I think it's very, very interesting. So hear me out. Here it goes. It says, one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. It goes on to say, an uncle of R.U. Darby was caught by the gold fever in the gold rush days and went west to dig and grow rich. He had never heard that more gold has been mined from the brains of man than has ever been taken from the earth. He stacked a claim and went to work with pick and shovel. The going was hard, but his lust for gold was definite. Let me just throw in a question here. How definite is your love for your desire? How definite is your love for your growth, for your contribution, for your goals, for your achievement? How definite is your love for your success? Think about that. So let's go on. After weeks of labor, he was rewarded by the discovery of the shining ore. He needed machinery to bring the ore to the surface. Quietly, he covered up the mine, retraced his footsteps to his home in Williamsburg, Maryland, told his relatives and a few neighbors of the strike. They got together money for the needed machinery, had it shipped. The uncle and Darby went back to work the mine. The first car of ore was mined and shipped to a smelter. The returns proved that they had one of the richest mines in Colorado. A few more cars of that ore would clear the debts. Then would come the big killing in profits. Down went the drills, up went the hopes of Darby and Uncle. Then something happened. Ooh, say that again. Let someone say something happened. Doesn't it always do? Something always happens. Like literally, you're on your path to success. You're working hard. You're doing stuff. You're programming your mind, and then something happens. Good. Something happens. Let's continue reading. The vein of gold ore disappeared. Did you hear that? Then something happened. The vein of gold ore disappeared. Oof, 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 oof. They had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there. They drilled on, desperately trying to pick up the vein again. All to no avail. Finally, they decided to quit. They sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s and took their train back home. Some junk men are dumb, but not this one. I love this. He called in a mining engineer to look at the mine and do a little calculating. The engineer advised that the project had failed because the owners were not familiar with fault lines. His calculation shows that the vein will be found just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. This is exactly where it was found. The junkman took millions of dollars in ore from the mine because he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. This is another key right here. Listen up, listen up. He knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. Do you ever seek expert counsel before giving up? That's one question for you. Most of the money which went into the machinery were procured through the effort of R.U. Darby, who was then a very young man. The money came from his relatives and neighbors because of their faith in him. He paid back every dollar of it, although he was years in doing so. Long after Mr. Darby recouped his lost money times over, when he made a discovery that desire can be transmuted into gold. The discovery came after he went into the business of selling life insurance. Remembering that he lost a huge fortune because he stopped 3 feet from gold, Darby profited by the experience in his chosen work by the simple method of saying to himself, listen up, listen up. Here goes what Darby said. I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no. When I asked them to buy insurance, so listen up again. I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no when I ask them to buy insurance. Darby is one of a small group of fewer than 50 men who sell more than $1 million in life insurance annually. He owes his stickability to the lesson he learned from his quitability in the gold mining business. Before success comes in any man's life, he is sure to meet with much temporary defeat. How true is that? And perhaps some failure. When defeat overtakes a man, the easiest and most logical thing to do is to quit. That is exactly what the majority of men do. Honestly, I'm guilty. I've quit a lot of time on things that I really wanted to accomplish. And when I got the first resistance, I was like, oh no, I'm just going to give up. But then I'm coming back to it. I won't give up on my goals. So don't leave me alone here. How many of you guys have quit on something you really wanted to do, but you just gave up because it was too hard? Yeah? Anybody else? Come on, guys. Don't leave me alone here. Yeah? Great. Finally, it says, more than 500 of the most successful men this country has ever known told the author their greatest success came just one step beyond the point at which defeat had overtaken them. Failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost within reach. Ooh, how true is that? It says, it takes great delight in tricking one when success is almost within reach. How many times have you felt like you're working, and just right when you're at the verge of breaking through, that is when it gets really difficult. That is when it really, really gets difficult. And what I do these days to kind of remind myself from this story, 3 feet from gold, that whenever I feel like things are really getting tough, I tell myself, oh my God, it means that my breakthrough is really, really close. Excuse me. It means that my breakthrough, the result that I'm longing for, the result that I desire is really, really close. And how many of you have had the experience that when you didn't give up, that last test, that last thing, the last drop that breaks the camel's back, when you don't allow it to break your back, and then boom, things just start happening magically. How many of you have experienced that? Has anybody experienced that? Yes, great. I have as well. So what I'm trying to say is that never give up, no matter what, especially in those tough times, because you know what, maybe you're just 3 feet away from gold. Just maybe, and just 3 feet away from your gold. Maybe you're just maybe, you're 3 feet away from your success, from your dreams. Maybe, just maybe. Why don't you give it a try? Why don't you stick to it? Why don't you never ever give up? Wow, I love this story. Oh my God, 3 feet from gold. That's what we talked about today. So I always try to keep these sessions really short. You know, the aim and my goal is to just give you insight and nuggets that can help you in your life and help you be unstoppable and never give up, and to rise above the average, above your average, to always grow and grow and get better. But before I leave you, I'm going to leave you with an abundance affirmation. We're going to do an affirmation together, and I love this book. It's called The Abundance Book. Oof, has really good affirmation. So if you will, please repeat this after me. It says, through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. Oh, how good is that? Let's do that one more time. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. Yes, your consciousness of the infinite abundance within you is your supply. So on this note, I'm going to wish you a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I wish you lots of love and blessings, and I wish you to be very, very successful and very prosperous. Thank you again for joining me on this this episode of Rising Above the Average, and I'm really looking forward to reading your comments, to hearing from you. You can email me at alun@askalunanything. You can go to my website. I have lots of free stuff over there. You can check me out. I always love to share all these nuggets that I myself read from my favorite authors, and whenever I get an insight, I love to share with you, and let me know how I'm doing and how we are doing. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if you're learning anything. Let me know if you've gotten one idea. And by the way, before I leave you, what you need in your life many times is just one idea. You can become a millionaire from just one idea. One idea. And that's my goal here, to just share one idea with you that can completely change your life. And I would love to hear from you and know what you think about this. Visit my website, Ask Alun Anything, where you can get a lot of free materials, and you can really get in touch with me and let me know how I can help you, best. All right, guys, have a beautiful weekend and enjoy everything and everybody that you like to enjoy. Have a beautiful time. Bye. Take care.